Okay. I'm going to call tonight's meeting to order. Roll call. Oh, flag salute. We haven't done flag salute for a while. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Okay, now is roll call.
Councilmember Murray.
Present.
Councilmember Ryan.
Here.
Councilmember Payne Donovan.
Present.
Mayor Matsumoto Wright.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wall.
Here.
Councilmember Woodard.
Accounted for.
And Councilmember Sonmore.
Here, attending remotely via teleconference.
That concludes roll call.
Thank you very much. Are there any late changes to the agenda?
Thank you, Mayor. There is one late change. We'd like to remove the executive session, item number 7, until our regular city attorney is available to attend, and we will reschedule that executive session at a later date.
Thank you.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Move to postpone indefinitely item number 7.
Second.
So we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, and so now next is public comment. Do we have any public comment? Do we have any?
No one has signed up in person. No one has pre-registered to give comment online, and there are no written comments.
All right, thank you very much. Then we go to consent calendar. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Move to approve the consent calendar items A through D.
Second.
It's been first and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. And then number 5 is review and vote on the bid award for Veterans Memorial Park Trails. I guess it's not Jeff Betts.
Hi. Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. Donnell Dial, Parks Project Manager. We don't have a presentation for this first item tonight, but we're here to talk about review and vote on the bid award for the Veterans Memorial Park Trails project. We've been talking about this project with you for years, so it's very exciting to be bringing this planning and design forward and entering the final stage of construction. As you likely recall, the project focuses to improve pedestrian transit and connectivity with the Mountlake Terrace Transit Center through construction of paved and illuminated pathways through Veterans Memorial Park. The 8-acre site will have multiple segments of trail installed to connect 60th Avenue West, the Civic Campus, and 58th Avenue West with the Mountlake Terrace Transit Center. A new pedestrian bridge will cross the seasonal stormwater channel, and some frontage improvements will be installed along 58th. The city's worked for several years with outside agencies to gather support and was fortunate to receive funding for construction from Sound Transit, the Puget Sound Regional Council, and the Federal Highway Administration. With funding in place, the city has been working with our design team and the Washington State Department of Transportation to prepare the project for advertisement. A solicitation for bids was published on June 13th. A bid opening was held on July 9th, where staff opened 2 bids from contractors. The apparent low bid from Granite Construction Company was $2,647,493.50, which falls within the engineer's estimate range of $2.2 to $2.7 million. The submittals from Granite were reviewed by staff and determined responsive and responsible. The city submitted the bid documents to Washington State Department of Transportation and received their concurrence to move forward with the award for contract. Noting there may be unforeseen events that may occur during construction, staff recommends a 10% increase to the approved budget for this contract. This would bring the total construction budget for approval to $2,912,242.85. With funding in place, and if approved tonight, the next steps would be for staff in our construction management group from Excel Tech will work with the contractor to collect and execute the contract documents, work out scheduling, and scheduling for pre-construction meeting and the notice to proceed. With that tonight, staff is recommending the City Council review and vote to authorize the city manager to execute a contract in a form approved by the city attorney with Granite Construction Company in an amount of $2,467,493.50 with an approved budget of $2,912,242.85. And with that, I'll take any questions you have.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Ryan?
Thank you, Mayor. Not a question, just a comment. Very glad this is going through. Very excited about this project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Councilmember Payne Donovan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I think this all makes good sense, and I think the sort of just cost realities of this moment we live in are what they are. But just given that we had two bids and bidding law is what it is, I did notice that the winning bidder did have some I think workplace safety citations that they did remedy once L&I approached them about it for projects in the recent past, and just want to make sure that we're eyes wide open, sort of understanding that, and hope that those sorts of things don't happen here as they're working on our beautiful future trail. But otherwise, I just ready for the trail to be open, and want to commend you on all of this good work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Salmore?
Thank you. And Darnell, don't take this personally, but I've never been a proponent of this project since the beginning. And I was just gonna, just so everybody knows how I feel about it, I just think there will be some safety concerns. And I believe people could have walked around the parameters of the park and saved us some money in doing this. But I do appreciate all the help that we've gotten on this park, and I do wish it well. My biggest concern is I've been told in the past that most of the trees would come down. That's when we first started, or somebody would go in and tag a lot of our trees. But my main concern is with the lighting and making sure that we're safe. I just hope the project does go well.
Thank you. Anyone else? Councilmember Woodard?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to go in a slightly different direction and just say I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm sharing the equal excitement about what's going on and the concerns expressed by my seatmate. But at the same time, I just want to get ahead of this and say, if we start doing groundbreakings, ribbon cuttings, or any of that, I would appreciate if Ivy League was personally invited. The Adopt a Park folks, they've done great care, and I think it's just the right thing to do, even though obviously I'm a member of Ivy League, but nonetheless, I would think that's a good idea for us. Promote Adopt a Park. But excellent work. Sorry if I'm not focusing on you, rock stars.
Thank you.
All right, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If we are ready, I move to authorize the city manager to execute the attached contract with Granite Construction Company in a form approved by the city attorney for construction of Veterans Memorial Park Trails project.
Second.
So that's been moved and seconded. Do we have a discussion before we vote? Nope. All right, we're going to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. So we can now move on to number 6, which is the review and vote on the Recreational Conservation Office, RCO Agreement for Local Parks Maintenance Grant Phase 2.
Good evening again. Donnell Dio, Parks Project Manager. We're here tonight to review Phase 2 of the Local Parks Maintenance Grant Agreement with the Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office to complete maintenance activities at the Recreation Pavilion's basketball court. Here's an aerial view of the court. Tonight we'll talk about the location, funding opportunity, work to be completed, discuss the timeline, the funding award, and then answer any questions that you have. The basketball court is located at the Recreation Pavilion, outside near the parking lot, here on the east side. This grant was secured from the Recreation and Conservation Office. This is a new grant program for RCO. Legislature allocated monies for a one-time funding opportunity to assist local parks departments with maintenance of their facilities. $5 million was split across 2024 and 2025. The intent is to focus on helping departments to catch up on any deferred maintenance or backlogs. There were 214 applications in all across the state. There was a minimum of $35,000 and a maximum of $100,000 with no match requirements. In November of last year, the city was awarded $94,190 to refresh the Recreation Pavilion's outdoor basketball court, which is also known as the Sonics Court. So far, as a part of Phase 1 that was completed earlier this year, we replaced all 6 backboards, rims, and nets. This agreement is for Phase 2, which will involve replacement of the exterior fencing, and then repairs and resurfacing to the court itself. Again, here are the timelines. We spent a portion on the first fiscal year purchasing the backboards, rims, and nets, and then we'll use the funding award from this agreement, Phase 2, for $80,890 to conduct the court resurfacing and fencing maintenance. Again, here you can see how it's broken down. And so we have contractors already lined up to complete the work later this month, August and September. We'll start out with the fencing and then follow that with the court resurfacing. So tonight we're asking council again to review and vote to authorize the city manager to sign the local parks maintenance agreement in a form approved by the city attorney with the Washington State Washington State Recreation and Conservation Office. Now I'll take any questions.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Murray?
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Donnell. I appreciate you being here, and I just want to, say a big thank you to the entire team for their quick work in finding a solution for this. I think I had asked a question about the condition of this court. I mean, just when you were here to give us our yearly update here not very long ago and to find a solution, to put forward a competitive bid and to find a solution that is completely grant funded is just super incredible. So thank you for that. I'm excited to see this go forward. I did have one question. So currently the fencing setup is such that I think there's been concerns about maybe people driving onto the court or some sort of issue along those lines. So we keep the gates locked oftentimes. And I guess I'm curious what the fencing plan is and if it will be a little bit more welcoming while also, meeting our needs to ensure that the court stays in good shape.
Sure, that was definitely something that we addressed with the fencing contractor, and what is currently proposed is a double swinging gate with a locking bar in the center, so it'll allow for maintenance as needed, but can be locked to only provide pedestrian access during daytime and normal hours.
That's awesome. Well, very excited to support this moving forward. And again, just thank you for all of the work.
Thank you.
Councilmember Ryan?
Thank you, Mayor. Very excited about this. Number one, I'm excited about it because it's historical. Seattle Supersonics and how this court came to be. Very excited. Also excited because it's a place for our youth and even adults to come and play basketball for free. That's great. A lot of people go, well, big deal. When I grew up, I lived in King County, and everything was free in the summer. All our neighborhoods had park departments. We had free ping pong, shuffleboard, went on and on and on, even worked for baseball. It kept me out of trouble for a little bit. Of course, you're always going to get in trouble. But anyway, it was very nice to have communities that had places for youth to go. So I applaud you. Thank you. Thank you for your presentation. That's all. Thanks.
All right. Councilmember Woodard?
Again, I want to echo all the thanks and excitement. Absolutely is there. Two questions. First one's just very selfish. Did we get any feedback when we replaced the nets and the boards? Did you ever hear from anybody who's using those courts? And maybe it's not as exciting as this next phase will be, but just curious if we got any feedback.
I have not personally, but maybe Jeff Betts might have
Okay.
received it over at the rec pavilion itself.
Yeah, so I was hoping that was the answer in the spirit of just like, I hadn't heard anything, and not that I'm the know-all, but it's like, that's weird. I would have thought we would have heard some stuff, because I saw those nets before. It's notable. And to Councilmember Ryan's point, this is a historic court, which leads me to my second question. Let me preface it by saying this. The last time I said something like this, you laughed, but it may happen, which is to say, this seems like a wonderful opportunity to embrace that history, put Mountlake Terrace back on the map, and take advantage of a window in time. Light rail is opening up. The Seattle Storm are out for the next 6 weeks. It just seems like, and although obviously we're not going to do it today, get this on their radar that, hey, we're opening up a court again. We're reinvesting in a court that I thought their name should be on, but obviously history-wise, we won't go that route. But nonetheless, just putting that out there, and maybe we get some traction off of their media, because it's just a lot going on, especially us talking about bringing the Supersonics back. I think people have forgotten that they have these courts. So the fact that we're reinvesting in it, just seems like we can ring a bell that we'll be the first ones to do it, maybe shine some light on us as an awesome city, which helps with our economic growth and all of that, just in the spirit of putting us back in people's thoughts. So, and the part where I said they laughed, we may get Doppler. I've lost all the other mascots, but all the other mascots may make their way up for our light rail event. So we'll see, because it makes sense. We're now connected. And at the end of the day, it'll be money in their pocket as well. And I'm talking to bring people our way, but I'm sure they can see it the opposite way. But great work. I hope that we take advantage and really do hype this. I get the nets weren't that big of a deal, but resurfacing in the fence, that should be huge. To Rick's point, Councilmember Ryan's point, that this is a historical moment. And again, us reinvesting in history is awesome. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Payne Donovan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And as a child of the 80s and 90s, I'm really glad we have this historical court here. And I think couldn't say anything better, but I would like to take this opportunity to, in the spirit of keeping adults out of trouble, formally challenge Councilmember Ryan to a game of horse once the fences are up. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Councilmember Ryan.
I accept the challenge to play horse because it's longer than the game pig. So I'm all for it. Thank you.
I hope you have a basketball. Mayor Pro Tem Wall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. On that note, I move to authorize the city manager to execute the attached funding agreement in the form reviewed and approved by the city attorney for the local parks maintenance program.
Second.
So it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? We have a new
Aye.
court. Oh, did I miss someone?
No, sorry, I just get a little bit late, so
All right.
I was just saying that.
Thank you. Okay, so now we skip number 7 and go to number 8, City Manager's Report.
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. A couple things to mention. On Tuesday, as you know, we opened Ballinger Park, and we're very excited about that. All the orange fencing is now gone, and we had a great event out there. I'm sure several of you will mention during your liaison reports. We had a great event. It was fun. It was great to see all the natural areas, but I do want to remind folks that it's going to look different. It's no longer going to be a putting green. It's now going to be a natural area, so the grass is going to be a little bit longer, those types of things. So very happy to see that and excited. For the Safe Routes to School project, we've talked a little bit about ensuring as much as we can that we get that project done before the start of the school year. And in an effort to make that happen, we are going to close that intersection fully so we can get the work done. Toward the end of this month, we will certainly communicate with residents and the wider community about when that's going to happen and how long it's going to take. But I wanted to mention it tonight just so we can get the word out there now that we are doing that, but we're doing that to make sure it gets done before the school year starts. I did also want to mention at the event on Tuesday, we had planned to honor David Carlos, who's provided us a lot of the fantastic drone shots that we've seen going on at Hall Creek. And in Ballinger Park, unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, so we would like to invite him here to a future council meeting so we can make sure that we do that formally, because those shots were fantastic, and they really helped the project by being able to provide the bigger picture from an aerial perspective. So we'll get that on your agenda soon. The draft environmental impact statement for the comprehensive plan is comment period opens today, and it will run. It's been published, so it opens today, and it will run through the end of this month. And I also wanted to remind the community that we have an open house scheduled here on Monday, August 12th, immediately before the Planning Commission meeting, from 4:30 to 6:30 here in this room, so that people can take a look at the environmental impact statement and make comments if they wish that we can consider as we finalize that document. And the new craze is coming out this month for the fall and winter programs. And lastly, National Night Out is on Tuesday at Evergreen Playfields, and we're looking forward to that and hope to see everyone there. That's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Anyone? Councilmember Woodard?
I think it's built into the word open house, but just want to verify, there will or will not be a presentation on that Monday?
I do believe there will be, but I'm not positive, but I will verify and get you that info tomorrow.
Wonderful, thank you. That would be great.
Councilmember Salmore?
I want to take it during this time instead of my a liaison report, because it really doesn't fit in there, but I wanted to talk about Terrace. And I wanted to thank the city for closing a street on, or the tennis courts are. A lot of the neighbors really appreciated how the city went out of their way and kept that neighborhood safe from speeding cars. And they were also appreciative that the rides shut down on time. I didn't hear any complaints that they were late. One of the complaints was when they would move or they would leave the rides open late. And I know there were signs up on all the rides because I was up there for about 8 hours watching my grandson take all the rides. But we apologize for shutting down at 10:45. And I didn't think we needed to apologize. It was just the rules, because by the time they get their equipment out, or if they had a ride go to 11, some of the neighbors who wanted to go to bed or had to get up for work, they were interrupted. And when they were closing out, sometimes they would move stuff all at, a lot later. And I know one of the neighbors had a young baby and she was up all night with all the noise. But this year, they were just very appreciative of all the hard work the city put into that. So thank you, city manager, for that. I just wanted to say thank you. And I did talk to a few people, and as of Saturday, I heard there was no big safety issues. Can you give us a little report if everybody, there weren't any real, I don't know, incidents that happened?
Absolutely, thank you. So the neighbors we spoke with last year and listened to their concerns, made sure we'd heard them and addressed them. They had a few more this year that we'll talk about before the event next year. I don't think it's anything too impactful, but I'm glad we were able to help them enjoy the neighborhood and help the event go along as smoothly as we possibly could. I thought it went really well. As far as safety incidents, there were none that I heard of, and I think a lot of that goes to the fact that our partnership with Snohomish County Emergency Management, and they're allowing us to use their cameras and make sure that we have video surveillance over some of the areas that have been problematic in the past, and made sure that was well advertised. So I think that helped a lot. And just to that point, the Emergency Management Department has offered to come give a presentation to council at a future date about the services they offer and what they can provide us going forward for events of this nature. I think it's a great opportunity for us to liaise with Snohomish County and with emergency management as we move into the hazard mitigation planning, which is a much broader effort, but which is important for the future of our community to make sure we're all talking together. So we are working on those things, and you will see that at a council meeting upcoming, if we can shoehorn it in between the comp plan and the budget. But you'll see that soon.
And again, thank you, because that did pay off. You kept our community safe, and having the surveillance cameras, that's good to know. I couldn't be more pleased with the event and seeing that. One observation I did want to say, and I know I mentioned it to Brian at the end of the parade, but it seemed a lot lighter this year. I know it was very, very hot out, but at the start of the parade, it just seemed lighter. So I didn't know if we got more of a head count, and maybe we'll have a report out on Terrace later, but good job.
Thanks. I do think some of that had to do, typically in previous years, from what I understand, there was a big banner put up over 220th to kind of advertise to a lot of people that the event was happening, and I don't believe the banner was put up this year. Not sure why, but we'll look into that and see. But it did seem from the reports that I saw and when I was there that it was not nearly as many people as there were last year. So we can look into that and help out the Tour de Terrace organization if they would like us to.
Yeah, it was just for the parade. I have to say the rides during the day, it was very nice and mild, but at night we waited in line for a long time. And I saw one of our council members going on a scary ride and got a picture of that with him and his son. So more power to you for being able to ride those rides, Steve. But overall, I think a lot of people attended. It was just the parade that I noticed that at. So thank you.
Council, did you want to talk now? Okay, Councilmember Ryan.
Thank you. I wanted to just add a couple quick items for the parade. During COVID, and then after COVID, we had to change the date of the parade. The parade used to be Friday right before the Torchlight Parade, and it was kind of a practice for the Seafair Torchlight Parade. After COVID, the carnival didn't want to do the same date because they got someone else during COVID so they could keep making money. And so then our date changed in the last 2 years. So that affected a lot of things. Also, the parade was longer too, because the beginning of the parade was the Seattle Police Department drill team. And then after Black Lives Matter and the defund the police, that whole squadron doesn't exist anymore. So we weren't able to have that anymore. So that made it shorter. We do, though, are still sanctioned Seafair parade. So we get the marshals, which are the people in light blue shirts and the white pants that help make sure things are going well. And number one is in number one and number two is in number two. And we still get the Seafair Pirates and we get some drill teams. So it's a little light this year, but I think after COVID, things really hit the fan, and that we still are feeling that. So I just wanted to let everybody know about that, and COVID, and defund the police, and cutting down things for our parade. Thank you.
Councilmember Murray?
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have a date for next year? I do think, to your comment about the date moving, I think that is challenging for folks. So I think once we know for sure what the date is, if we...
No date.
Okay. I was going to say, I think if we could get out a save the date early next year, that probably would help folks make sure that they reserve it, because I know there's lots of people that want to be there, and just summers, I think, get busy with travel and trips and that sort of
Might
thing.
announce it in April or May.
Yeah, as soon as we have a date, we will share that widely.
Great, thank you.
Okay. I don't see anyone. Oh, Mayor Pro Tem Wall?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For National Night Out, is there a time that council should be there?
Glad you asked. So on Tuesday at 6:20, just to the right of the DJ booth on the north side of the field is where we'll ask council to gather for photos and if you want to say anything to the attendees.
Does everyone have their T-shirts? Do we have any extras?
We don't have new ones. We had the ones from last year. Yeah.
We don't have any for this year. It'll have a different date on it, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right. So we haven't had a council liaison report in I don't know how long, so hopefully.
Buckle up.
Yes. So we're going to have our council liaison reports, and I'm going to start over there. You don't want to? Okay, I'll start with Councilmember Woodard.
Thank you, Mayor. I was trying to write down that 6:20. I'll hopefully remember that. First, let me just say it was really weird putting suits on when you realized we didn't have to dress up at all in July, which, was nice to put the suit on and remind myself, I make this suit look good. All right. Sorry, that was a joke. It really wasn't. July 3rd, I was able to attend the July 3rd event. It was outstanding. I know that sounds like so long ago, but the reality is we should be talking about June as well, and I chose not to. So I'm starting at July 3rd. Then on the 9th, I did make it over to the open house from Main Street. I touched the building and I walked back out. I own that. I was not trying to be at an open house, and it was just a lot going on. On the 11th, it was a very busy day. Had my awesome city manager meeting, and we had a meeting, I should say. Then I joined Awesome Council at the 66th ribbon cutting. That was really fun. We had the nerve to double back and do a study session. And right before the study session, I was at the Music in the Plaza to kick it off, go back, come back. So it was really great to see just a handful of people there. And then when we got back, a ton of people in the plaza. I did make it to all four music, so I'm just going to power through those. On the 13th, I made it to Afro-Latino Festival. That was amazing. It was out of Linwood, but it was still a lot of us there, so it was wonderful. Again, on the 18th, made it to the music at the Terrace Creek Park. And I just want to let people know, if you haven't gone, my first hesitation, especially with vitiligo, was, I cannot be out exposed to the sun like this. It turns out they already thought that through because we're an awesome city. You are completely in the shade from the moment they hit that first note to the very end. So if that's been your hesitation of wanting to come out, that's taken care of. Very well thought out in the layout and just how that's playing out, and the musicians themselves. Moving forward, on the 19th, I think we did something. On the 25th, it was at the Music in the Plaza again. On the 25th, we also had a study session. Then this past weekend on the 27th, I had the opportunity to MC the first half of Nubian Jam, which is an Everett event, but as we have mentioned in the past, Mountlake Terrace supports that because it's a regional event, and that's 32nd annual at the time. And I have a feeling there will be a 33rd annual for no other reason than I'm on that planning committee, and I know we're already setting that up. On the 30th, then moving forward, we were at the Hall Creek ribbon cutting, which was amazing. I want to applaud whoever it was that released the bald eagle right as we walked up to the viewing platform. That was a nice, classy move. It was probably a mature one at that. That thing was so gorgeous as it flew up. The best part is nobody was looking. I'm like, eagle, eagle. And people were like, what? I'm like, really? Look. And then they looked, and I was able to tell them we have 4 resident eagles that live on that island, and they didn't believe me at first. I don't know why. Why would I make that up? Anyway, closing it out, I had the honor of being here to watch another icon of this city that's kept this city a city say, I gotta hang it up now and go do a different part of my life. So congratulations, Barry, on your retirement. That was absolutely humbling to be here for you. I'm sorry I never took that tour for you. Look, I told you I'd put it on the public record, and he offered that to us. So if you decide you want to do that in your private life, I will still go on that tour with you. And then lastly, today, I had a chance to ride a dragon boat. I bring that up because the organizers have already made it clear that they would love to do next year's event here in Mountlake Terrace, right at Lake Ballinger, and they would have bigger boats, and you won't have to go out into the Sound and worry about the ferry running you over, because that was an actual concern of mine, and I'm pretty adventurous, and I was like, this is not going to work for me. But it worked out really lovely. It was a great event, well attended, and we closed it out with music in the park in our own space, once again over at Terrace Creek Park, and that is the end of my report.
Okay. Are you ready now? Councilmember Murray.
Thank you, Mayor. I was going to say it gets challenging to my memory to start going back 5-6 weeks, but I will do my best, and I always appreciate Councilmember Woodard covering the bases on so many of our events. So I think just be like what he said on a decent amount of them. I did say, I think when we called in remotely from the AWC conference last time we had a regular meeting, and I said I would reflect back on that. And I think, my major takeaway, so that we're not here forever and because it's been 5 or 6 weeks, was that I'm incredibly grateful that we have opportunities. I appreciate AWC and the work that they do, the Association for Washington Cities, to ensure that we have opportunities to come together, to learn both, from them directly as well as from one another, to hear what other communities are doing, and to share all of the good work that we are doing. We happened to get a lot of, I think, really positive feedback at that event. We had just had our Juneteenth event here in Mountlake Terrace. And I was amazed by how many folks had heard about it, who were excited about what we were doing, and appreciate that that was something that Mountlake Terrace is on the map for and was known for at the event. So it was a wonderful, wonderful time. We had a DEI commission. We've had 2 commission meetings here since we last gave reports. A couple of updates that I think are probably helpful for this group. We have a new chair, which is the first time in a couple of years. So I know we have all gotten very used to William Page being the chair of our DEI commission, and he has done a wonderful job the last couple of years in that role. And so thank you to him for all of his hard work supporting that work and that commission. We have a new chair. Scott Matsuda is the new chair, so very excited for his leadership here of the commission. And we welcomed our brand new commissioner, Patricia Pottinger, who is our new youth commission member, which is very, very exciting. So I think it's going to be an awesome year, and appreciate all of the folks on the commission who continued to raise their hands, and welcome to Patricia. And I will add, so one of the things that the DEI commission has done a really good job of doing from the very beginning is inviting in members of our community to come, to share, to learn, and to support one another. And, we had a really good conversation with a number of members of our Native American community here, I think at the June meeting, that I thought was a really good opportunity to start to build that relationship and connection. And so just, again, really grateful for the work that the DEI commissioners are doing, and obviously appreciate all of the work that our deputy city manager does to help facilitate that. And so I think we are continuing to build really good connections that will help us better understand the needs of our community, and hopefully we'll have more folks coming into this space. We had a great crowd, both adults and kids who joined us, and I thought that was just wonderful, and I learned a lot, and I think we had a good opportunity to start to do some future planning, which I'm sure we'll report on here at some point. Independence Day celebration. I love fireworks. I know there's lots of mixed feelings there, but I am always grateful that we have fireworks here in our community. It makes it for a much easier Independence Day celebration. And so thank you for all of the work that goes on to make that happen, because I know it's an incredibly bigger, it gets larger each year. And so I think that is such a fun opportunity for us to come together as a community. I always see folks that I don't see the rest of the year. And so it's fun and it's exciting. And it was wonderful. We've had lots of meetings. Music in the Plaza has been lovely. Thank you for that. Thank you to Andrew. I had a chance to go check out Music in the Park for the first time tonight, which was nice. It was a different setting and a different way to listen to the music. But I appreciate that we've had good turnouts for all of those events. Had a chance to attend the movie in the park here over the last weekend, which was also wonderful, although we picked a movie that made me cry. And so maybe we could pick movies that don't make me cry in the future. No, it was wonderful. And so just, again, grateful for all of the work and the opportunity to bring our community together, to get to know one another, to spend time together and be in community. I think that has been really positive forward momentum, and that's something I'm excited to see build and grow here as we look forward. Councilmember Woodard mentioned the 66th Avenue improvements and ribbon cutting. That was lovely. That crossing, particularly at the interurban trail, was really neat. It has a light up flashing beacon that is automatically triggered as you come to. So you have to be aware of that if you're just hanging out on the side of the road there, that cars will stop, which is great. And excited to see that project done. I know that was a long time coming, and those who drive through there regularly, I'm sure, are incredibly grateful, because it is smooth and wonderful driving through there now. Tour de Terrace was amazing, as it always is. Love the parade, love the festivities. Love the festivities. I now have a kid who also enjoys rides, and who made me go on rides with her in the absence of anyone else to go with. And I was going to say maybe that wasn't my favorite part of the weekend, but the parade was lovely. And I want to give a special shout out to all of our local organizations and businesses who take the time to participate in that, particularly Las Espuelas. We had a good conversation while my daughter and I, when we were in there earlier in the summer, and shared how much we enjoy the dancing horses and their participation in the parade, and talked a little bit about what a commitment that is from them as a business to participate in the event, and how much work it is to bring all of the horses in and all of the horse riders in. And I'm incredibly grateful that we have such amazing local businesses who want to be part of our community and make very meaningful investments in order to do so. It brings a lot of joy, both to me and my family personally, as well as I think to our community as a whole. I was standing next to some other folks when they came through, and they were like, the horses, and they were so excited, and everybody stopped. The people had been kind of chatting and whatnot, and everybody stopped and watched them go by and cheered. So that was wonderful, as was all of the participants this year. I know he's had some new ones, which was really fun to see. All right, I know, sorry, I'm never short-winded, guys. Had a chance to join Councilmember Woodard at Nubian Jam, where he is always representing our city proudly, and had a good opportunity to connect with some of the folks at the community booths that were there, that I will circle back to at some point under new business. Sound Transit has also been showing up regularly, and I just want to say I appreciate that. They were at our music in the plaza here before our meeting last week, helping our community to understand the changes that are coming and get familiar with how to access public transit if that is not something that they are familiar with already. I also had a guy on a bicycle come by today and leave a little door hanger with information from Sound Transit, and so I appreciate all of the work that they are doing to ensure that our community is aware and informed about the coming light rail, which I'm also very excited about. All sorts of good stuff. Then we get to like I guess the hard part of my report. So I attended, I don't know that I'm gonna be able to get through this. Sunday, I joined the family and friends of Jada Wood Johnson, who was a member of our community, a 13-year-old who was killed at the mall earlier in the month. And so much to say, but also like so much not to say. Like it was a wonderful opportunity to listen to her friends and family remark and share their memories about, from all accounts, a young girl who was spirited and funny and inquisitive and who loved movies and music and her two little brothers and her friends and Hello Kitty and so many of the things that so many of the young people in our community love to do. And it was absolutely one of the most heartbreaking things that I have ever been a part of. And so I guess I had all sorts of, I think, thoughtful remarks here, but I don't know that I have a lot of them right now. The family asked that we all try to continue to take forward the light that Jada brought into the world. They talked about how with her, no one was a stranger, that she was somebody who smiled at others, who said hello, who checked in on people and asked how their day was. And I thought that was something worth sharing here for all of us. I think all of us have opportunity to reflect on how we show up in the world and how we try to make it better and to ensure that things like this don't happen, because they shouldn't happen. And I think that would be where I would leave my report today, in terms of, I think, asking each of you to honor her memory by, in the way that feels authentic to you. But I do think that as a council, I think, so that would be my individual ask. I think as a council, I think also reflecting on if there are things that we can do. I appreciated that Councilmember Ryan talked about the importance of youth activities, and it's something that I've talked a lot about here in recent times. Youth activities alone maybe don't change the outcome here, but maybe they do change some outcomes. And so I guess I would just, I have felt very reflective over the course of the last month. And I guess I would just ask that each of us continue to be reflective and continue to have conversations and, think about how both as individuals and as a body that we can support young people and our community at large, because I sure don't ever want to go to another event like that. So that's all I have. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Sonmore, are you ready?
Yes, I am. And thank you for that report. I love when you guys give details on your report, so I learned something. But just to go off what you said and to reflect, you can always tell that I'm always about safety first. And I wasn't born that way. It's the events that we have to go through and what we deal with in life that somehow shape us. And as a council person, I feel that's how I give back to our community, is trying to keep them safe. And so thank you for attending that. I'm sure that was not a fun experience, but you honored her in a special way tonight. So thank you for that. And I was getting choked up while you were talking, and I'm sorry to do a side note on that, but I just wanted to comment and thank you for that. And like Jerry used to say, moving along, and I'm sorry to say it like that. The committees I serve on, I'll just give you a brief report. Park and Rec is next week. Left One, or Jennifer might call it Leo, is next week. And also I'm on the Finance Committee, and I did sign off on the claims. And so that's where I'm at with my committee. But I just did want to do just a couple side notes really quick, because I think they're important. Kevin Harris retired, and he had a wonderful retirement party. And at my work, I'm seeing a lot of people, they go out after retiring and there is no party, there is no celebration. And I thought it was a very nice celebration for him. He started working at the city in high school. I know that because I went to high school with him. And so it's a nice memory, and I just wish him all the luck in the world in his retirement, even though I know he's already working again. But anyhow, with that, I also need to schedule my meetings with the city manager. And just two more items very quickly, because they're just compliments and thank yous. So thank you to Councilman Ryan for retrieving my sign. You would think after all these years of doing the parade that I would remember I've gotten my sign off the car. And thank you again for securing cards so the city council can participate in Tour de Terrace. So really thank you, because I know you've been doing that for years and you don't have to do it. It's volunteer, but we do appreciate that. And also I can't wait to get the project going on 48 and 66. I just want to mention real quick, because I learned a valuable lesson at that. And I wanted to thank Jennifer, because I saw a whole bunch of newspapers on the ground. So of course I was going to go pick them up, and didn't think nothing of it. And she said, there could be needles in it. We saw needles last time. It didn't even dawn on me that there could be needles stuck in the trees or stuck in the bushes where the papers were. And so I just wanted to thank her for that, because that's another safety tip. Somebody who's always thinking about safety did not even think about that, but she was quick to respond to that. So I wanted to thank her. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Ryan.
Thank you, Mayor. Going back to July 9th, well, actually 3rd of July, I went to the 3rd of July event for Mountlake Terrace. On the 9th, I had attended the Left One Retirement Board. On the 11th, we had our work session. On the 16th, I had the Arts Commission meeting. 19th, we had our Tour de Terrace parade. And I'd like to thank the two people that put on the Tour de Terrace, the whole event, and that's Scott and Tisa Smith, for continuing Jerry Smith's idea to celebrate the community. Also, I'd like to thank William Page, who was our announcer, and he's also our DEI chair, for doing a great job. He made me feel like I should be on America's Got Talent. So that was really good. 25th, had the work study session. The 30th, we had the ribbon cutting at the Hall Creek Restoration. And then adding to, I wanted to thank the Tulalip tribe for sending me a letter regarding certain concerns they have with the water and land rights on Puget Sound. Thank you. And then going to Council Member Aaron Murray's thoughts on our 13-year-old from Mountlake Terrace High School who was shot and killed at the Alderwood Mall. Yes, I support youth and getting them doing something. we're really failing as a society. I'm not talking about just Mountlake Terrace, but we're really failing as a society for our youth. And it's really sad because just in King County last year, youth violence was up 57% for, well, actually 2022, 2 years ago. Last year, and then 2021, youth violence was up 146%. And so we need to do something with our youth. And it doesn't help when in King County, Dow Constantine wants to get rid of all youth detention centers by 2028. That's not really going to help. If we have youth out that are 12, 13, and 14 killing people, I think they should be detained. I don't know. So it's a tough situation when we have gangs now because they don't have youth centers to go to, shooting people, and then we're not detaining them. The picture's really obscure, doesn't make any sense, and we had it firsthand here at Alderwood Mall and a youth from Mountlake Terrace. So let's take some facts, not just emotions. Let's take some facts and put them together and do something. All right? Thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Payne Donovan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I guess I'll start with my report back, I guess on the 11th, where we had the 66th ribbon cutting, which was followed by our work session. That next week, we didn't have a meeting on the 18th, but I unfortunately missed the WIRA 8 Salmon Recovery Board meeting due to some day job constraints, but just wanted to take the opportunity to, one, thank council and staff for assigning me to that group, and I've had some really great interactions with the staff of the Salmon Recovery Board, and look forward to representing the city there from as long as I'm on that board. I think moving along, also was at the ribbon cutting on the 30th, and also attended the Tour de Terrace parade, and I think that more or less wraps up my month of July. But I wanted to take the opportunity to express a lot of what others have been sharing tonight about real positive response to all the programming, the long-running opportunities to sort of show up and celebrate Mountlake Terrace, and also a lot of the new programming that we've been rolling out this year. I think people, as we've all been expressing, are really appreciative of that, and I've been hearing it more than ever this year, and this extends out beyond the borders of our fair city, and it includes a lot of the park and rec programming as well, and it seems to all sort of build on itself. So I'm really pleased. Makes me proud to represent folks in town when we're really able to provide the type of community building and community celebration opportunities as we have been. So I'll end it there, but I want to give a kudos to staff and the community for really putting the work in and getting the feel-good results that we have been. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. All right, so One of the things you've heard me talk a lot about, coming from our discussion with the mayors pro tem and council presidents, has been regional collaboration. We finally had a great meeting on the 25th of June, bringing together the mayors and the council presidents and the city managers and administrators to talk about collaboration. I thought we had a really great dialogue about and identified a number of different areas where we might be able to work together better as a South County region. And anywhere from criminal justice and law enforcement and the need to address all aspects from detention and the criminal justice system in general and needing bodies to fill positions, to funding, to this providing services, and working together as a region to address, the affordable housing and mental health services and all of those things need to be. We need to work together because we're too small individually to address a lot of these big challenges. But working together as a region, we can do a much better job. And so I think this is a great first step in identifying opportunities, potential areas where we can be working together as a region to address the challenges, but also do it in a more cost-effective way. And part of the message is providing the services to our community. Another part of it is recognizing that we're all facing budget challenges, but working together, we can do things better in a cost-effective way. So, like I said, criminal justice and law enforcement and affordable housing and mental health services, I think one area. Other areas are fleet management and the capital costs that we each individually bear, but don't necessarily need a vehicle that we purchase for $500,000 every day of the week, every week of the year. And so there's just a lot of opportunities that we had a great first discussion. This is going to be a meeting that we're going to continue having. I think the next one's in September to keep regrouping so we aren't letting it get lost, because part of the challenge is, we all have a lot of things that we're trying to do, and it's easy for this one to drop off the radar because it's not part of the normal thought process. And so getting this, making sure that the leadership of the cities are talking about it regularly, and that gets drilled down to the staff, who also has their own, myopic is maybe a strong word, but has their own focus and challenges they're dealing with, and trying to think outside the box and how we can be working together. Anyway, more to come on that, but I'm really excited about that first meeting. The 26th had a meeting, attended the CPAG meeting to thank all of our, appreciate the volunteers that put on tremendous amount of time and effort into helping shape the vision for our community. Then Snohomish County tomorrow on the 26th also had a meeting where we approved CMAQ and STBG block grant funding, basically. It's transportation projects. You hear me talk about funding, federal funding, pass-through dollars through PSRC all the time. Well, part of that is there's regional competition and there's also countywide competition. So this is SET approving those funds for the county projects that then gets passed on. You're going to hear me talk about in a minute with PSRC Executive Board with approving the projects both regionally and the county projects. Also had a presentation on Snow Isle libraries, had a discussion about the urban growth area adjustments and reconciliation process, particularly related to the growth that jurisdictions are struggling to figure out how to take. And then after we go through the comp plan process, we then look at what we were able to do and where we had shortfalls and need to make up and readjust our planning. Also discuss the opioid settlement and where things are at there on 19 cases or so, lawsuits and funding. Anyway, so there's an update on that. And the 27th had the PSRC Operations Committee meeting, and then followed by the Executive Board meeting where we had a regional safety action plan. So this was a fascinating discussion, and we're all recognizing the safety on our streets and how insanely out of control and tragically out of control society has become in Washington State, and the trends that we've seen since COVID. And you know, if you don't think it affects you personally, well, go look at your insurance rates and how they've practically doubled. Even though you may be a perfect driver, your insurance costs went up because all of the other safety incidents and traffic accidents that are out there. So we all need to do a better job. But there's a lot of data behind that. So PSRC is doing a great job in developing an action plan. But just a note, traffic deaths have doubled in the last 10 years. So the safety action plan that we're working on will include research, strategies, and identifying best approaches. We're looking at what is causing it, things like speed, impairment, distracted driving, trying to create safer drivers. There's some great technology out there with smart traffic signs. So they actually have the ability to see if you're looking at your phone, and the sign will tell you, put your phone down. And there's some great things out there that we're going to be looking at. Looking at safer vehicles, you know, driver assistance technology has improved dramatically. Looking at safer speeds, looking at things like speed limit operating procedures, policies based on land use, creating safer roads. Roundabouts was a key way to help slow down and traffic calming device. And, you know, more walkable and more sidewalks. And there's money available for planning regionally. So, you know, we need some help with planning here in Mountlake Terrace. We can go to PSRC to help get some funding and ideas. And again, tremendous strategies out there and research is taking place at the regional level. They're going to be making available to us. So keep an eye out for more information, but we'll be there's going to be a safety dashboard at PSRC's website that can help you identify a lot of information, have a lot of information available on helping improve our safety in our streets. We also had an update on the equity tracker and PSRC comp plan consistency review. Just a reminder that all comprehensive plans that we adopt region-wide go through the Puget Sound Regional Council, and we have to certify each one of those. So we're going to be very busy throughout next year looking at all the comprehensive plans that were adopted. We had our work session on, I'm just in June, sorry, I'm sorry. So we had our work session in June 27th. On July 2nd, we had the South Snohomish County Council Presidents and Mayors Pro Tem meeting, talking about, again, regional issues, follow up on the collaboration and discussion. On the 3rd of July, we've already talked about what a fantastic celebration that is. It is. So I won't go on, but I do applaud all of the effort and exciting, and it is I'm really proud of us putting that together every year. I think we do a great job. And it shows. It's widely celebrated, what, 10,000 people this year? Something like that, attending our event. Okay, on the 10th, had the Snohomish County Tomorrow Executive Committee meeting. Talked about, again, annual topics. A reminder that the Snohomish County Tomorrow Annual Assembly will be on the December 11th. And having a lot of discussions about, again, changing the form of the Snohomish County Tomorrow to a council of governments. So we're going to be addressing, you know, a lot of the, not just land use and planning and transportation and growth issues on Snohomish County Tomorrow, but all topics related to government and again, kind of helping share a lot of insight and ideas and information amongst all of the cities within Snohomish County. So that there will be a lot more discussion about that at Snohomish County cities, at Snohomish County Tomorrow, and at that assembly we'll be looking for a lot of input from you. So we hope you attend that meeting and share your ideas about what you'd like to see us address on this new Snohomish County Council of Governments. On the 11th, had the 66th ribbon cutting. On the 11th, also had the work study session, also dropped in on the music next door. On the 18th, had Snohomish County Cities, Snohomish County Cities dinner. And again, we talked about the Snohomish County Tomorrow and had a presentation about the Council of Governments. On the 19th and the 20th and 21st, we had the tour to Terrace. Again, fantastic job. Another event that we can be so proud of having here in Mountlake Terrace, and you guys do a great job making that all come together, and thank you. On the, let's see, where was I? On the 24th, had Snohomish County Tomorrow Steering Committee review final SAT budget, had a presentation from the Snohomish Conservation District and all the different resources that they have available. Also had a presentation on the criminal justice tax, sales tax that's going to be on the ballot in November. And we'll be having a lot more discussion about that, but that has, if that 60% of that will go to fund county law enforcement and public safety issues, and 40% will be divided amongst the cities. So our share of that potentially could be $777,000 to help us address our criminal justice, law enforcement, public safety needs here in Mountlake Terrace. So that was a great presentation to get an understanding of what that ballot measure is about. On the 25th, had another PSRC Operations Committee. On the 25th, followed by the Executive Board, where we approved the FHA and FTA projects, $712 million approved for transportation projects. And then we also had an Equity Advisory Board update. On the 25th, met with Daniel Lokich from the Mountlake Terrace Chamber of Commerce. Maybe I should stop and clear my, take a breath, right? Anyway, had a great meeting with Daniel about chamber activities and what's going on, and working together with the business community, and talking about economic development and strategies we can be working on here at Mountlake Terrace. The 25th had our work study session. On the 30th, had the Hall Creek restoration ribbon cutting. And let's see, what was it, Tuesday? So on that would have been the 30th, also attended Mountlake Terrace Chamber event, where the Chamber is doing a fantastic job organizing the grand opening ceremonies. And you hear me talking about the night market all the time. If you don't know what a night market is and want to learn more, attend our grand opening session from here at Mountlake Terrace from 4 to 8 on the August 30th, and that will give you a really good idea of what I'm talking about and how exciting that can be for having entertainment and food and vendors and opportunities to showcase Mountlake Terrace businesses and arts and entertainment. It's going to be a really exciting grand opening. Mountlake Terrace Chamber is doing a great job. There was a planning session last Tuesday anyway. All right, and then earlier today had the meeting with the mayor and the city manager and I, and that concludes my report.
Okay. So for my report, I'm going to start in June. So on June 24th, I had the Snohomish County Mayor's meeting, and we met in person in Linwood, and it was on crime, and they have their new, I don't think it's called a jail, it's a jail. And they have a new facility. And then on the 25th, I attended the South Snohomish County Mayors and Council Chairs. That was in our council chambers on that one, with the city managers to talk about teamwork between the cities. And then on the 26th, I had a one-on-one with Daniel Lokich of the Mountlake Terrace Chamber. And it's nice that he wanted to know what some of my ideas were. And then I made it to the CPAG, their last meeting, to present them with their proclamation for giving up a lot of their time for the city. And on the 27th, I'm just going to add this, because I was a part of the beginnings of Wally Webster's Access Project, and he won an award from Campanis. And I'm just thinking how wonderful for him to, hopefully this will be the beginning of many awards that he hopefully will get, because Mountlake Terrace is going to really, really do well with these projects. And this is keeping kids out of trouble. On the 28th, I also went to the goodbye lunch for the retirement of Kevin Harris. On the 3rd of July, the fireworks were fantastic. On the 7th, I attended the candlelight vigil for Jada Woods Johnson, and that was enough for me. It was absolutely heartbreaking. And on the 9th, I came to the meeting where we met with the stakeholders of 56th Street. And on the 11th, the Times came and interviewed us for a light rail article. And that will be later on this month.
Yep, should be just immediately before the grand opening event.
Okay. And then I attended the music in the plaza that night. And then on the 17th, I attended the Snohomish County Cities in Everett, and they talked about the Everett water. And then one more item. But anyways, I remember the Everett water because we have a lot of water. We don't have a drought coming up. We have a lot of water still. That was Snohomish County Cities, wasn't it? Oh, okay. And then I attended, on the 19th, I attended the tour of the Terrace Parade. And wow, that was actually a lot of fun. It always is a lot of fun, but and then on the next day, I manned the tour of the Terrace City booth for a few hours, helped out, just answered questions. And on the 22nd, I attended the Snohomish County Mayor's meeting, and that's all of the mayors in Snohomish County. And then on the 25th, I attended the HUD, the HUD, HUD, Housing of Urban Development, for elected officials. They had a Zoom meeting for elected officials who wanted to find out more about what HUD did and how they could help us. And so I attended that, and it was a review for me because it's almost everything that I worked with when I was a commissioner for the Housing Authority, all the different vouchers and so forth. But HUD has money to give you to build affordable housing. So nice to keep your finger. And plus, the new regional director of HUD for this area is a person who was the head of the either King County or Seattle, Andrew Loftus, Housing Authority. So he knows housing authorities. And then another Music in the Plaza. We have so many of those now, and we're going to just continue to get more. On the 30th, I attended the Hall Creek ribbon cutting, and we all... Did I skip another ribbon cutting here? Because anyways, there was the other ribbon cutting. There's so many, 66. I think I skipped that one. But anyways, so this was a Hall Creek ribbon cutting. And I think Congressman Larson was really, really happy to see it finished because he was there from the very beginning. And then on the 31st, I attended Barry Dolan's retirement. All these long time employees are retiring. And but the fact that they have stayed with our city for over 30 years, almost 40 years, is just amazing. Then at night, that evening, I attended the Master Builders elected officials reception. And the Master Builders are very, very interested in well, they wanted to know what was going on in Mountlake Terrace, so they got an earful. And I think that there's somebody we should probably talk to because they build homes, they build apartment buildings, they build condos, and we just need to tell them what we need here in Mountlake Terrace. And they had the financing people there too. Then tonight I attended the Music in the Park for a short time before I came here. And that is the end of my report. All of us together, I think we didn't cover it for an hour, right? It didn't take an hour. Okay, so that's the end of our council liaison reports. Next is new business. Does anyone have any new business? Councilmember Ryan?
Thank you. One moment. I got an email, and maybe all the council members did, but the Maverick Cares of Maverick Gaming, which is our 3 gambling places in Mountlake Terrace, are going to have an event to give students school supplies, backpacks, things like that on August 24th. It's a Saturday from 11 to 3 at the Dragon Tiger Casino, which changed names up there on 220th. And you just have to help as the cars come in, distribute those supplies. So I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that. Thank you.
All right, anyone else? Councilmember Woodard?
Thank you, Mayor. I want to first, I think I'm going to say I'm going to applaud Councilmember Murray. I thought that was very brave of you to bring in the memorial. I left it off my report intentionally because it's like, what do you do with that? That said, as I was listening to everyone's report, you brought other pieces of it, and I thought, well, you know what? Let's put a shine on that and point out the mayor's observation. Access Project, it actually stands for Association for Collective Community Engagement on Safety and Security. But if you looked it up legally, it's called the Access Project. The mayor mentioned she was a founder. I had 2 of them a part of that group. I have transitioned onto their board. We brought William's name up as a former DEI chair. He too serves on that board, which is to let you know, Mountlake Terrace is highly represented in these conversations. And I bring that up in this context to let you all know, this is a relatively new group. I think the mayor would agree. I mean, we're still getting our sea legs under us, even though we're a nonprofit. But as horrible as this moment has been, and it's not a moment for the family, it's a moment for us. As horrible as this has been, I'm very humbled to say the Access Project has already stepped up. It's working with the Edmond School District because I think folks know we're not in school right now, but students are still real people. And so they're hurting out there. They're not going to wait till September to debrief, to share, to do all of what they need to do. The Access Project is stepping in. And I say that to let you know that the Linwood City Council has redirected some of their ARPA monies to address this specific moment in time. Verdant, I believe, is stepping up as well. And all of that is being pushed through Access. So if Access isn't actually doing it, we're finding the folks to help with the grieving, and it's a lot going on. But I just kind of wanted to point out that, to the mayor's point, I think it was the mayor that just said that this project is really going to help this community. It already is, and just want to be clear about that. And deepest condolences to the family. As the mayor pointed out, we were at the vigil, and that was absolutely more than an empath should ever be at. Let alone to go inside a building and have all of that energy consumed. So thank you also for representing this council. No reflection on any of us. We all have our reasons for doing what we do, but I'm very happy to hear that you were able to make it and represent us.
Anyone else? Well, I'm going to bring up one item, and I saw it on Mountlake Terrace Community today. And a lot of people commented on it, but it's waste management. I know that I was here, and we negotiated the new contract, and but I don't know if everybody else heard that there's new rules. Did you know that the lid has to be shut? No, it hasn't, because they used to always pick it up in my home.
Yes, I got charged. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I got
learned the hard way,
charged
but,
twice.
And then remember they did, they did in the contract say that they would be looking at what we put into our recycle and charge us up to $25 and maybe even $50 for putting in the wrong recycling, because nobody's accepting our recycling overseas. So there was a lot to that contract. And yeah, some people are very upset about that.
Well, I called because we had a extra box, and we put the extra garbage sticker, and apparently my son put it on the other side. You can't see it from this side, on the other side. And so the photograph that we had, that they took, has a picture of the box. And she says, well, I don't see a sticker. And I said, well, we did put a sticker on. And then she read it a little bit further, and the comment was, it was too heavy. I don't know what my son put in there. But apparently it was too heavy, and that's why we were charged $10.
The box isn't in the bin.
Okay, well, the sticker was there, but this was, yeah. Anyway, so for those of us who are listening out there, maybe if you're going to use that sticker, put it on the front, and then there is a weight limit, and I don't know what the weight limit is, and I don't know how heavy mine was, because I don't know what was in there. But I saw the comments today on the Mountlake Terrace Community Facebook page, and apparently a lot of people have been getting fined on a regular basis. And I thought, wow, maybe we should get the word out what the new rules are, because I know for a fact that my whole neighborhood would have the recycle bin lid open, and then it would stick out, and then they would take those. And so that was our $5 charge the first time I got charged, because we did that. We just folded everything up, put it in there, put the lid up, and it's sticking out. And apparently we can't do that anymore. The lid has to close. But maybe we should just let the people know what the rules are, so that we're not going to get charged as often. And just let us know. And also, when I called Waste Management, they were not very helpful. Apparently, they're getting a lot of our calls. So that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say that, yeah, I've been dinged twice. Councilmember Woodard.
Because I like a bandwagon, I'm jumping on. Firstly, that makes me wonder how many of us on automatic bill pay haven't noticed we're getting charged because our life is busy, and that's an absolute absurd reason to leave garbage, recycling, anything behind. But I hope you're listening, Waste Management, because the second part of that is I'd love to know how many of our wires have been getting knocked down. I stand firm that that was them, because I watched them do it, and they tell me, oh no, our trucks are exactly the same, and yet we do know that they modified it to make sure they got those cameras on there. So I'd be curious to see how many around our neighborhoods of those wires are getting ripped down by these trucks, not to mention the debris that I see that's getting knocked down off of trees. And I guess trees should be cut back, so maybe that's on us, but at the same time, that's still a mess being left behind. That sure wasn't there before your cameras. And now you're making all these little nickel and dime charges, which is interesting. So now I'm gonna have to go back for about 6 months to make sure we haven't been getting charged, because I'm sure I've done everything you've said. And what exactly is open? Is it like wide open, or is it just a little bit of a fraction open, right? Because like, where are you going to draw the? I'm not asking you to know that. You wouldn't know. It's where do you draw the line in something like that? So, and to be fair, I would argue, at least in my household, I don't even need the dang trash can. All I need is the recycling and the yard compost, and I know that frustrates the hell out of them. Too bad. That's what we do. That's how you should be living your life, not just producing junk for the landfills. And now you're charging me. You found a new way to charge me. Fascinating. Right? That's why I'm pissed off over here going, I'm going to be pissed off to find out I've been in charge, and I just didn't realize it because you're not putting stuff in the landfill. But now I'm not doing it appropriately to put it into your process, which makes no sense.
I
Not
get a
you.
separate email with a photo.
Yeah, well, then that might be the good sign I haven't gotten that. But still, I would encourage us to use our resources, because we did a similar thing to tell people where to put the trash cans. Didn't work. But my neighborhood, it almost worked. Only one holdout, literally across the street from me, Kathy. I'm looking at you. Anyway, point of that story is we can put it out there. People are going to do what they want to do, but at least we can point to it and say we tried to update you, because I'm promising you there's no way people notice that. Little $5 here, 20 there, with all the bills that come in. So at least it wasn't about water. The water got a break today. Waste management, still a W.
Mayor Pro Tem Wall.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. While we're on rants and raves, I'll talk about Xfinity. My frustration with them, and I'll jump on the waste management bandwagon and how frustrating that is, and you know, how much all of us are making the concerted effort to recycle everything, and now they're telling us we can't. Anyway, but you know what I did notice in Shoreline? Have you ever driven through Shoreline? All of their buckets have the city logo on it. So we got to negotiate city logos on our trash cans for a reduced cost. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. I guess.
I'm still
Oh,
processing
you're-
the city
you're-
logos.
okay, go ahead.
But if we could advertise for businesses, but the other one, since we're on this, because I remember arguing with Waste Management and she did not like it because they were going to raise our cost before our contract, and then we negotiated our contract. But as far as I remember, you cannot not have garbage. But I'm just wondering, if you have a house, do you have to have waste or recycle? And so maybe we can look at that again. But the one thing I wanted to bring up, and you're going to think it's funny, is I saw people that are upset with being on the flight path, especially into Payne Field or going to SeaTac. And when Payne Field was being built, our city, especially, they promised us, and I know we do have this in writing, and I know it probably can't be enforced, but they said Mountlake Terrace would not be on the flight path. And so I thought it was kind of interesting. Some people on social media said they were moving out of Mountlake Terrace because they were on the flight path. And I did have a girlfriend live on the flight path going into SeaTac, and they had to replace there was some funding they got to replace their windows to isolate them. And I'm not saying Mountlake Terrace is going to do anything like that, but I just find it's interesting how things change over time, and said that we wouldn't be affected by any of the noise from the flight path. So I just wanted to bring that up as just kind of an FYI.
Okay, anyone else? All right, I guess we're adjourned. Thank you.